What if the face you thought you had forgotten was the one your heart had been remembering all your life? What if a young woman, raised in Paris with a new name and a new identity, carried a question that never stopped echoing inside her? Who gave me life? And what if, after 26 years of silence, a single photograph, a trembling hope, and a miracle that unfolded in just one day led her back across the world, right into the arms of the mother who never stopped grieving? This is the story of Kallisté, and the mother she lost, then found again. The child left behind. On an ordinary November day in 1998, under the bright white lights of Tudu Hospital, a baby girl entered the world. Like any newborn, she cried her first cry without knowing fate had already written a harsher path for her. The nurses wrote her name, Pham Thi Than Truc, on a tiny card. And for a brief, fleeting moment, her mother, Pham Thi Ha, held her close. A young woman of just 24, trembling from exhaustion and fear, she looked at the child she knew she couldn't keep. No one in the hospital room knew what was happening inside her. They didn't know about the man who denied her, the shame she carried alone, the endless nights hiding her pregnancy from the world. They didn't know she had walked into the hospital with no money, no family beside her, and no home to return to. The moment she placed her newborn down, she made the decision that would torment her for the rest of her life. She walked away, leaving her baby behind. The hospital transferred the child to the Tam Binh Child Protection Center, where she stayed only a short time. A French couple, gentle, warm, longing to be parents, traveled across the world and fell instantly in love with the tiny Vietnamese girl. They brought her home to Paris, gave her a new name, Kallisté, and promised to give her the world. And they did. Her childhood was wrapped in love. Her parents cherished her as their only child. They enrolled her in the best schools, encouraged her dreams, celebrated every achievement. To anyone looking from the outside, she had everything: stability, opportunity, a future without limits. Yet even love cannot silence certain questions. As she grew older, the curiosity grew with her. She would notice the shape of her eyes, the warmth of her skin, the way people often asked, "Where are you from?" And each time she answered France, something inside her whispered, "Not the whole truth." 2 times she visited Vietnam as a tourist. She walked through Saigon's noisy streets, the very city where she was born. But it felt like trying to remember a dream she had never lived. Those trips planted seeds she couldn't ignore. There was someone out there who had held her once, someone who had made an impossible choice, someone she needed to find. By her mid-20s, her desire became a mission. For 6 months straight, she gathered every scrap of information her adoptive parents had kept: a name, a birthplace, a single photograph. That was all. She reached out to Hong Phuc, a man known for helping overseas adoptees. She contacted a Thanh Nguyen reporter. She prepared for a long, emotionally draining journey, maybe years of searching. But fate doesn't always follow human timelines. Sometimes it bends toward miracles. In late August 2022, she stepped off the plane with her Dutch boyfriend Freek, believing she was just beginning a long search. She had no idea she was one day away from finding her mother. The mother who never healed. In a small alley off Bui Thi Xuan Street in Tan Bien District lived a quiet woman few noticed, a woman whose heart never healed. For 26 years, Ms. Ha lived with one question: where is my child now? Her life took a sharp turn when she was a young woman from Tai Ninh, barely entering adulthood. She trusted a man who left the moment she needed him most. Pregnant, frightened, ashamed, she had nowhere to go. By the time she arrived at Tudu Hospital alone, she was unraveling. The moment she walked away from her baby became the moment her life split in two. The life she lived and the life she wished she could rewrite. After the birth, she wandered, from Tai Ninh back to Saigon, working jobs to survive. Her mind spiraled. She couldn't tell anyone her story, but one woman saw her vulnerability and brought her home, offering food and safety. Under that roof, slowly, her mind stabilized, and with clarity came the weight of what she had done. Around 2000, she found the courage to confess her truth. She had abandoned a baby. She wanted to find her, but she had no documents, no contacts, no way to know where her child had gone. Adoption files are sealed, paths disappear. Her confession became a wish whispered to the wind. For the next 2 decades, she lived with guilt. She cared for her benefactor until the woman died, then devoted herself to the woman's disabled son, people who became her chosen family. Her life was quiet, her days simple, but inside her was a storm that never passed. "Just once," she whispered when alone. "Let me see her before I die." When the reporter knocked and asked about a baby she left 24 years earlier, her heart nearly stopped. She had long convinced herself miracles were not meant for her, but that day, her trembling hands, tear-filled eyes, and racing heartbeat betrayed what she already knew. This was about her child. Meanwhile, across the city, the search post went live. Messages came, many, none certain, until a young woman named Mai Trin from District 12 called, saying the photograph looked like her aunt when young. She showed it to her mother, who recognized it instantly. Within hours, a family stirred. Doubts turned into hope. Hope threatened to become belief. The next day, everything locked into place. When the reporter visited again, Ha cried before he finished speaking. Her intuition, long dormant, surged. In her heart, she already called the girl my daughter. One final step remained: the DNA test. When Kallisté heard the news in Phu Quoc, she booked an early flight back to Saigon. She refused her mother's offer to share the cost. "I'm the one searching," she said. "Please let me do this." She didn't want to meet before the result. She wanted certainty. The test was done, samples sealed. One long night passed, the longest of their lives. The next afternoon, the reporter returned to the clinic. He opened the envelope. The words printed had the power to mend 26 years of pain. Biological relationship confirmed. Mother, child. He called both families. The moment they heard the news, 2 women, one in Saigon, one in a District 1 hotel, broke down in tears. 2 worlds, separated for decades, finally touched. The day 2, worlds collided. Even before the DNA confirmation, Ha's relatives had boarded a bus from Tai Ninh to Saigon. By instinct and faith, they felt the girl from France was their blood. The tiny house became a place humming with hope. Cousins, aunts, uncles, neighbors filling every corner with stories, tears, and excitement. When the official phone call arrived, the room erupted. The cries weren't just joyful, they released years of grief. This was the miracle they never imagined. Across the city, in a hotel room, Kallisté stared at the result through blurred vision. Mother. The word weighed differently now. Real, living, waiting. She contacted her adoptive parents in France. They cried with her, relieved and grateful. The next day, she and Freak bought gifts, simple things chosen with tenderness. As sunset painted the city gold, the car pulled into the alley. It was 5:45 p.m. Inside, Ha stood frozen. Her hands shook, her breath unsteady. The family told her to sit, but she couldn't. After decades imagining this moment, she didn't know how to prepare her heart. Then the door opened. Everything stilled. Kallisté stepped inside. Their eyes met for the first time since the girl was minutes old. Then, as if pulled by an invisible force, they fell into each other's arms. The embrace lasted long beyond the first sob. This wasn't just a reunion. It was a wound closing, a life restarting, a question answered. Around them, the family wiped tears. Even Freak, who didn't understand the language, understood. He later said, "I've never seen her face light up like that." Once calm, Kallisté greeted each relative with the words she had practiced. Her accented me made everyone laugh and cry. The grandmother held her hands and whispered blessings. Aunts hugged her. Cousins showered her with affection. In minutes, she went from an only child in Paris to part of a clan of 12 siblings. At dinner, Ha cooked every dish, the dishes she would have made had she raised her. As Kallisté tasted them, she cried quietly. It wasn't the food, it was what it represented. Care, memory, belonging. Later that night, mother and daughter sat together, knees touching, hands intertwined. Ha confessed everything, her past, her shame, her regret. Every sentence shook with fear her daughter would judge her or walk away. But Kallisté didn't flinch. "I don't blame you," she said softly. "I'm here because you gave me life." Freak watched them talk for hours. He wished he could say something meaningful in Vietnamese, but his smile said enough. He witnessed love that needed no translation. The night ended with full hearts and a sense that a lifetime had been rewritten. The next morning, the family brought her to Tai Ninh, their hometown. The grandmother held her hand the entire ride. Relatives lined up to meet her. For the first time, she saw the land she came from, the soil, the houses, the faces like her own. She felt something she had never felt, not even in Paris. She felt, "This is home.